pressure on me. Try to distract them from the fact that you need that. Supposed to think about how else it could be. Oh please, you wouldn't see me, still wouldn't believe me. Kill me in my sleep when nobody could. Oh, we hate each other's deep fate, but is there any other option left? Or you keep on going, keep falling for your tricks. Just let me just one call. Oh my God.
It's Trace. Hello, everyone. Welcome, guten Abend, to the April Pulse Plan, or monthly Pulse. Yeah, we call it a Pulse Plan, but the monthly Pulse, where we talk about all the upcoming RUM news, veteran topics, and gaming and pop culture for the month of April. We've got a pretty good list of things to talk about this week, but as always, we have to start with either a little bit of troubleshooting and then some GOAT show and tell. But, you know, looks like things are working great. I might have actually dialed it in this time. So we're ready for show and tell. Yeah, that's their stream. So yeah. So what do you got for us this week, Goat? Or this month?
I don't have a lot of 3D prints to show, but I did. What? Jesus. Hang on.
Everything good there?
A little bit.
Oh.
I went to move it and just straight tipped it over.
Well, there goes the technical difficulties we were talking about.
That's not that.
Yeah.
Just operator.
Yeah, PEBCAC.
Alright, so, you know, one of the main things everybody can, or ties, or links together with 3D printing is Crystal Dragons. And people are always amazed with things like Crystal Dragons or anything that's flexible, how it just prints in place, and they're always curious, you know, how does it print? I can't really show you how it prints like that, because literally it's printing two rings at a time. The rings just overlap each other. You just have to like watch one of our time-lapse videos to see that.
Yeah, check out our TikTok.
Is these, where this is how it shows up on the bed. These are about the smallest dragons I can make with them still being flexible. And we made a couple of these for our brother's wife to give out to kids on the school bus. You can kind of see, you know, they're not super tall. This is how they come on the print bed. Print forward at a time, all at the same time. And then you just bend it, literally. Bend it. Bend it. Bend. It's off.
Wow, it's like magic.
And these are a little bit more complicated because they're so small. I had to put this rim on here. So otherwise, you would just peel the dragon off, and it's just flexible as is with the bigger one. But these, you know, you have to just peel that rim off all the way around, and then turn it into a flexible one if Crystal still has hers. Is that your flexible dragon?
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Like they're a little bit bigger than like if you have a cat, like if you know those little like fuzzy like worm cat toys. Yeah. They're slightly bigger than those. Yeah.
It's almost like 2 Coke cans.
Yeah.
You have that one, the really small one that didn't work out? Crystal? You have the really small one that didn't work out? They still had it on your desk somewhere. Yeah. I made one, I think it was 20-25% smaller, and it was just like, so this one already, it's like, you can kind of tell, so it's like right there. And those last like 4 links are just so small. If you really carefully work at them, you can get them loose, but you're liable to break it off.
Yeah.
And when I did it like 20% smaller, it was like from here back.
Yeah.
Flex it.
It was a non-flexy dragon at that point.
Yeah. But it was a cool challenge, you know, just if you wanted, you know, just the small, cheap dragons to give out, because she keeps a big one, the full, like, 36-inch one, at the front of her school bus.
Yeah, it's kind of like the one I've got. I've got one of the big ones right here.
Yeah, so that was my challenge of how small can I make one. Oh, here's the step one. Yeah, so I couldn't even uncurl.
Yeah.
The tail. But you can see the different size. I mean, it was getting there. It was about half the size, but it just wasn't working. I mean, even this part, it's like only flexible from the rear legs up.
Yeah. Definitely not ideal. Yeah.
Other than that, as far as like RUM-Gaming 3D printing news, I did want to do a little bit more show and tell about the struggles of 3D printing, especially
Yeah.
with bamboo. So this is what's called the hot end. I don't know if I can get it to zoom in a little more. There we go.
Yeah.
This is a whole piece, basically one where on your standard printers, or your older printers, or cheaper printers, I should say, you know, like a regular Ender or Creality, from like here up, it stays on the printer. And you usually just unscrew a little brass tip. And these tips, little brass tips on the cheaper printers, they get worn out because it's just brass. So as it pushes X amount of material through it, you'll notice like your prints start to print shittier, or it just gets a lot get burnt on the end. But you can get like 20 of them for like $2.
Yeah. Very cheap.
Anytime your brass tip or your print start acting up, you're like, I'll just change the tip out, just unscrew it, screw a new one on, bam. You're good for another 4 rolls of filament before you gotta worry about it. These though, this doesn't come off. So if this ever has a problem, you either have to fix it or replace it, this whole thing. And this little piece costs $20 because this is a hardened steel tip. It's permanently on there. There's also wires. So there's a, let's see if I can get it to show up. There's a hole close to the tip there. You can kind of see the circle close to the tip over here.
Yeah.
So wires actually go in that hole, get clipped onto the side here, and then ran up to the top. And that's how it detects the temperature inside of here. And so the whole process to replace this one $20 piece is like 30 minutes of time. Plus it's $20 a pop. So I'm trying to learn how to actually clean them. And you literally take like a long 4-inch needle. You heat this thing up in the printer while it's still built, you know, screwed onto it. And then you take this like 4-inch long needle and just stick it in there, kind of scrape left, right, back, forth, just all around. Because basically what happens is on the inside, you get little bits of like burnt filament inside of there.
Yeah.
What you're trying to do is like break it up. Kind of like, one thing I think it was like breaking up a blood clot or something, or a kidney stone or something. Trying to like break it up into smaller pieces. And then you tell the printer to purge filament out, and it just pushes it out. And you're hoping that it'll bring some of those little pieces out with it. Just kind of rinse, wash, repeat over and over, trying to like scrape the little bits out of there until when it is purging it out, that it comes down a nice, smooth, straight line, just all the way down to the bottom. If it doesn't come to the bottom, what it'll do, which almost doesn't seem possible, if there's a little bit in there, it'll actually like immediately start curling on top of itself instead of going straight. And that's what's been happening with ours lately, is it's basically got a clog is what that is on the inside, and so it'll just spit out to the side. And if I'm printing something big and bulky, you know, like a big flower pot, it'll print it just fine. But when I'm trying to do things like these little dragons or the flexi coasters that we showed last month, where it's doing 100 little bitty pieces, well, it doesn't work out very well.
Yeah. Starts to present some problems.
But it's still just like such an annoying thing. You spend 30 minutes sitting here needling this thing out, and then you do a test print, and it might work fine for half of it or all of it, and then like the next print you go to make, you realize it's clogged again. Dang it. Makes you want to just say screw it and just replace the $20 part. But I can't sit here and replace a $20 part every 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I want to start paying for it out of my own pocket. So, yeah, that's just the struggles. But here's the new one, though, in case you wonder what it comes bagged
There you
with.
go.
Kind of like thermal paste when you're doing a CPU, because that piece, it clips on with the wire. You put some thermal paste on it. And it has a little rubber boot, kind of keep the heat from radiating out.
There you go.
And spare screws. So, you know, still $20, but you're getting a pretty good deal for $20.
Yeah.
Those wires, though, I had to buy a replacement packs with those wires too. Of course, reflective packaging. They really, really thin wires that are
Oh yeah.
a little bitty piece of solder
Wow.
that sticks inside of it. And as I was saying, from time to time, you get filament kind of caking up around that hot in there.
Right.
That'll end up like seeping into this wire end as well. And so the last time I went to like replace that hot end, I ended up ripping the wires off instead of pulling that plug out. So couldn't even reuse that hot end. I think that's the one I was showing you, was the one that, like, you know, inside of that hole I was trying to show you, it still has that like bit of solder stuck in there.
Yeah.
So if I ever wanted to reuse this one, I'd have to somehow get that solder out of that little bitty hole. It's not even worth my time, really.
It is possible. But yeah, it's a pain in the. It would be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, for $20, I'll just spend the $20 than 2 hours of my time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, the constant struggles of 3D printing. You know, people always ask, you know, like, oh, it's how much work is involved. It's like sometimes it's just hit start, go, and you got a dragon later on.
Yeah.
But other times it's
Multiple hours, sometimes days of troubleshooting.
20-minute sessions at a time
Yeah.
because you got to walk away before you start punching the machine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, otherwise that's the only real show and tell. I just made a bunch of those dragons. The Flexi Coaster we showed last month. It's the only ones I've made since then.
Yeah.
Because went to Houston one weekend and then went out of town for a funeral this weekend. Just
haven't been home.
Made the time, basically.
Yeah.
But this weekend we're home. We're gonna do a full inventory of everything that we have left over, steampunk and other shows. Yeah. Try and get ready for the next steampunk.
Yep, we'll be.
Pumping out prints. So
yep, we'll be.
By next stream, I'll be over here with a basket of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Be excited for that. I guess we can go ahead and jump that up in the ranking then, since we talked about it. We will be attending Steampunk November 2025 in Venus, Texas. So we highly urge you to make some time and come out. It's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so it's really it's convenient. There's camping available.
It's just south of Dallas.
Yeah, it's just south of Dallas. So definitely come out, come to the booth, come say hi. We're giving you plenty of advance, so there's no excuses. Come see us. It's a great time. There's a lot of really cool shows. At least I don't know exactly what they have planned this year, but last year it was a lot of fun. There were some cool shows, a lot of really cool costumes. I mean, we're planning.
Race.
Yeah, we're gonna try and get involved in the teapot racing that they have there. So it's a good time. Come by and show some support and watch the shows and immerse yourself in the steampunk wonderland.
For those of you who don't know what it's like, if it's basically the Victorian gears steampunk machine genre version of the Renaissance Festival.
Yeah.
So it's basically the exact same vibe. You could literally almost just wear whatever you wear to the Renaissance Festival to the steam.
Yeah.
And nobody would question it.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a really good time. And I mean, obviously you don't have to dress up, obviously.
Yeah.
But
just saying, if you are into that thing,
yeah,
you could always just transition straight from Renaissance to steam.
That's what I did.
Basically the same time frame, just it's like a different timeline.
Yeah.
Teapot racing though is basically you take I have to look at the requirements again, but it's basically a small standard remote control car, you know, like a 12-inch by 12-inch car, and you attach a teapot to it somehow, some variant, any kind, or teacup. It just has to be something related to a tea party on the car. It could be a thimble-sized teapot strapped on to Bigfoot. and it counts. And they have a cool little track built. You can literally just race other remote control cars with the teapot on them.
Yeah.
On this racetrack.
There are some people that go as simple as, buying, cheap little remote control car from Walmart, ripping the body off of it, screwing in a
Glue
wood plate,
plastic
glue it,
teapot,
yeah,
right?
and then race it. And then you have the other guys that like build their cars from the ground up with like the custom servos and suspension. And there's some people that take it very seriously. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. We're gonna try and strap Buford in the rum ship.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
just have like my theory is to have the rum ship mounted on top of like a stripped down car.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna put a little teapot on top of the rum ship, and then put Buford inside the teapot, like the teapot's the cock.
Yeah. It's gonna be cool.
That's my goal. But could be aiming a little too high. So we'll see what happens. At the very least, we'll have the rum ship and the teapot strapped on.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think it'll be fun. Just, because it doesn't have to be expensive. You can buy a $20 Dollar General race car.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Slap a 3D printed rum ship on it. A little kid's teapot. Or a 3D printed teapot.
Yeah. Might as well 3D print everything. Yeah.
I was say, if you need parts for your teapot racer, I got a line on the 3D printer over here.
Yeah. We have a
Get you
connection.
hooked up.
We know people. But that's pretty much it for the RUM-Gaming news. As always, we're still recruiting volunteers, whether you be remote or local to Houston or Oklahoma.
Yeah,
so
our goal, we're doing Steampunk November this year, but if we had more local support, local volunteers, do some of the shows that might not make us much money, but it'll spread awareness,
right,
cause, which is the main goal.
Right. And with that, we'll move on to the veteran topic. I actually didn't really have anything to add for this month, but it seems like you did, so I'll go ahead and let you take the lead on this one. What you got for us for the veteran topic this month?
Yeah, it's not a long talk, but I've been trying to keep more aware of the news and all these. I'm not a big politics person. I'm not a big news watching person, period.
Yeah, I try to avoid it.
But with all these changes that have been coming with like tariffs, taxes, all the Doge stuff going on, like there's everybody that is political is up in a roar about it. So I've been trying to keep an ear to the ground, at least just Googling like how are the recent changes affecting veterans.
Yeah, and there's quite a few changes that are going to be felt from what I've been seeing.
As far as how much your everyday veteran feels them versus other people, who knows? But this one, kind of hits RUM-Gaming similar causes, which is why I put it on here. So feel like we've put it out there before about the veteran crisis line.
Yeah, we try to.
Yeah, the veteran crisis line. It's kind of like a suicide prevention line.
Yeah,
but it's not just for suicide. It's just any kind of veteran struggling with anything. Just depression, stress, PTSD, whatever.
Yeah, 24/7. You can call the number anytime, and they'll talk.
Yeah, like I've recommended that to somebody because I've had people reach out to me like, "Hey, you're a veteran. You got any ideas?" And like, look, man, I'm not a professional, but I do know a number. Like,
yep.
And so on that note, and it's kind of, I read a couple articles about this, and part of why I don't read the news is because they give you, those like, what do you call it, titles and limited information to like, get you worked up, basically.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, well, Trump and Doge are cutting this, which means this could potentially cut off, and if that gets cut off, then this could get cut off. And like 4 daisy chains later, they're saying could affect this.
Yeah.
So may or may not have any impact, but if it did, it would suck. But what it is, and I'll just read the official excerpt that I cut out here, was in Trump's cuts to social services, the country's veteran crisis line, which both the VA and Department of Health and Human Services oversee, is losing employees to layoffs, despite its existing staffing shortage. So they're already short-handed and can't keep up, and now they're going to have layoffs. And so they're estimated an 800 and 900 of 13 or 1,100 crisis line workers have always worked remotely. And apparently part of these cuts is to stop people working remotely.
Yeah.
And so they're going to cut out, like I said, that's like 90% of the crisis line workers work remotely.
Yeah, that's one of the big things that it's one of the big things that Elon and Trump were advocating for, is they didn't want any more government remote work, which to me is counterintuitive, because if the whole purpose is to try and save money, then paying for buildings and facilities and equipment for all of these people that just could be working from their house with their own equipment and their own facilities would save so much money. And so it seems completely backwards to me.
I mean, it is and it isn't. So the problem is it's harder to manage people that are remote. It is 1,000% easier for a remote worker to not do their work than it is if they're in the office being managed.
Sure, yeah.
So as far as, the cost of building and air conditioning and, furniture and electronics, sure. But then there's the cost of paying workers to do X amount of work, but only 50% of that work is getting done. Or if you brought them in office and they were properly managed, 100% work would be done.
Yeah, I mean, but there
80% of it.
there are ways around that, right? Like,
the better solution is better remote
management
of your remote employees.
Right. And to be honest with you, if you pay some of these employees, some of these people that work for the VA a little bit more, they'll have more motivation to do their jobs. Because I mean, they're not really getting paid all that much either. Like, you can't expect someone to put their entire self into something when they can barely afford to pay the bills with what you're paying them. It's just, there's...
If you just look at it from your standard work from home worker,
yeah,
there's a large group of work from home people that look at it as a way to do the bare minimum and get a full paycheck.
Yeah.
That's the problem they're trying to fix, is we got this workload that needs to be handled and it's not being handled. Their solution, rather than come up with a better work from home solution, is to just end the remote. And it's like, well, that's dumb.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
It's like, sure, you're going to get the work done now, but it's going to cost you X.
Yeah, the money that you're saving from getting the workload back is going to be dumped back into the
office.
Into the office, yeah. It's like, so it's, I don't know, it's
like,
it's
why not
tough.
come up with a smarter plan? Let's save the money by keeping them home, but find a better way to.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways that can be managed. I mean, there's activity sensors. There's, you could hire 2 or 3 people to just randomly screen monitor people that are working to, like, make sure they're working. And if they have an idle screen for X amount of time, then they get a ding, and then, like, you have to check it out. It's like, there's so many ways to do it that would require a lot less money and a lot less heartache. I don't get it.
Well, because there's a lot of companies that have, thanks to COVID, changed to, like, remote only.
Yeah.
Because of it.
Yeah, there's been, I always keep my nose to the ground when it comes to LinkedIn, so I'm always kind of, just looking through LinkedIn. I like this because they always have cool resources, like, on my feed and stuff, to, like, learn different things about the job that I'm currently doing. And but also I see jobs all the time too, and it's like, a lot of these companies that I see these days are, like, remote focused. Like, they promote a remote based culture. Like, that's what they want. And it's like, it's pretty cool. I just wish that we would adopt the same policies as some of our European friends and move to a 4-day work week, because a lot of European countries have moved to a 4-day work week and they've shown great success with it.
So I don't know how easy it is for you to pull up that picture. It's a link as well, putting up via browser.
Yeah, I can pull it up.
So our other veteran topic.
Yes.
Anybody that's a veteran, anybody that's been to the VA, sees these hats
Mm-hmm.
on the old timer veteran, and that's always kind of how I've looked at them. Is like these are the hats that the older veterans wear. And if you scroll down to the guy wearing, it's a little recognizable.
Yeah, I mean everybody's seen him.
So, I've never had a desire to get one, even though when you see the guys selling them at the VA, they'll have one for like OIF, OEF, whatnot. But it's typically for your older veterans. And even this website here, talking about it, is because if you are one of the older veterans, here's how you can get one for free instead of buying from the store if you ever acquired one or couldn't afford one. And they'll even ship them to you. But it is for the, basically, you know, what I was saying, like the limited old-timer veterans. Where was it? Earlier. Who actually get them? No, list.
Ooh, excuse me. This looks pretty neat though. I like some of these hats. The army one sold out though. Goat, you're out of luck.
Dang it. Okay. Now I'm wrong. I swear. You had to be like Purple Heart only or
Definitely.
veteran. And now I don't see it anywhere.
It definitely says at the bottom. Are there any strings
there it is,
attached?
there it is. No, it's right here. It's on with the picture with the guy's face. It
Okay.
says, if you're a veteran on medic, you qualify for a free hat. That's our way of saying thank you.
Gotcha.
So you specifically have to be a veteran on medic. And that's why I even ask you to choose on the form which cover you have. VA coverage, Team VA, TRICARE. But yeah, so it's veterans on Medicare, those old school veterans for free. And for whatever reason, the Army out of stock.
Interesting.
Yeah, maybe it was one of the cane things I was looking at. I've been doing a lot of research for our next, hopefully, about where to get free cane. And there was one that was like really specific of like, you had to be either an old, like, era or older veteran,
Right.
or global war on terrorism with a Purple Heart. It's like, geez.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, thanks for helping out, but it's, man, you're narrowing that way down.
Yeah.
You're either 70 years or older, or have a Purple Heart.
It-
All right. But hey, you know, you're helping.
That's right. That's right.
But this one is just Medicare veteran. You get your free hat, free old school veteran hats.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that was it. You know, I've been trying, because everybody knows, or every veteran typically knows about, you know, a lot of places do veteran discounts year round, Lowe's, and a lot of the parts stores like O'Reilly's and AutoZone.
Yeah.
But most of the time, the only time you think about free stuff for veterans is on Veterans Day, where everybody goes out and gets free. Trying to dig deeper. Instead of been trying to dig deeper to find out other things that veterans can get free. You know, I'm not trying to say everybody to go bombard these people and just take them.
Yeah. Right. Right.
But, you know.
I mean, we're in the business of giving stuff away free for veterans, so why not find other businesses to do the same? You know?
Exactly. And then, you know, I'm using that as a segue to reach out to them to be like, hey, I see you give away free stuff, so do we. If there's anything you need, let us know.
Right. It's like we could build a partnership. It's like if you need 3D printed parts for some of your free stuff that you give away, well, let us know.
Because, you know, we have the diversity of being able to print stuff for anything.
Yeah.
Can print stuff for canes. Can print stuff for the people that make these hats.
No. Hell, you could print. You could print like those little, like hat cages so that you can ship it.
Yeah.
And without it being, you know, broken and messed up and folded and. stomped on, crushed.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I really found for this month's veteran news. There wasn't a lot of things that stood out other than those two things. Well, other than the crisis line potentially taking a huge hit. But don't let that stop you from calling. You know, they'll find a way to make it happen.
Yeah. And just to fill a little bit of time here, we talked about it last month, but I want to bring it up again. If you are a veteran and you are receiving healthcare through the VA, I definitely encourage you to look up and go to the orientation for the whole health program. Again, it's like I said last month, it's a program that's in addition to your existing healthcare, and it changes the conversation with your primary provider. Rather than saying, "Hey, these are your numbers. Take XYZ. We'll follow up in a few months and see where you're at." And instead of it being that, it's more of like, "Hey, here's your numbers. What would you like to do so that we can get this back in order?" And it brings a more holistic approach towards your healthcare. And it can range from all kinds of different things, whether that be, for mental health, they have all kinds of different stuff like equine therapy, guitar lessons. They've got, personal training plans.
Depending on your area.
Yeah, it depends on what your specific VA has to offer. So it will be different depending on your location. But these are some of the programs that are pretty basic. I mean, the equine therapy may not be available everywhere, but like I'm sure the guitar lessons are. Like the additional mental health, you can get chiropractic care, and all of these activities that you can take part in. You can also bring your family, because again, they want a whole health approach, right? Holistic. And if they believe that you being around your family is what's going to make your life better, then that's what they want to encourage. So your family is also welcome to participate in all of these programs with you. So look into it. I highly encourage it. But moving on to the gaming and pop culture, you've got some announcements on Dune Awakening. I know you're stoked about it. I kind of am too.
Trying to find the list. I was trying to find the same one that I found before. I thought it would be quick and easy to find. But while I'm looking for it, the main thing is, so Dune released their official release date last month or so.
Yeah.
So it's going to be releasing on May 20th.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not going to be a, what do you call it, early access or alpha game or beta game.
Yeah.
It's full release, hitting the ground running.
Yeah.
And pre-orders are coming out. I was trying to confirm the date of when you can pre-order.
I mean,
already out or
I
not.
think they did it smart, because I feel like they wouldn't need to anyway, because they did, months and months and months and months of closed beta work. So
so do lots of other games. And
yeah, true. That's true. That's true.
They began on the 24th of March. So yeah, about a week or so ago, they started pre-orders.
Yeah, so
What they did differently is, other people are like, hey, pre-order our game, and maybe you get this extra skin or something, but they still don't tell you exactly what you're getting, of the game itself.
Right.
Whether it's going to have all the content or whether it's going to have, battle passes and shit you got to buy.
Right.
And Dune did something, a little bit differently compared to most people or most companies. They actually told you, like, no, here's exactly what you're getting. And, like, specifically, like, called out, you're not going to have to worry about this, and you're not going to have to worry about that. And, God, I can't. Lots of cool extra features. I can find all the extra features, but I was trying to find the article where they actually said, like, don't worry, we're not scamming you, is basically what they wanted to make sure you were aware of. Oh, here it is. Business model and post-launch plans. Like, they wanted to give you full, what's the word? Not full closure.
The transparency.
Full disclosure. Transparency, yeah. Full transparency. So they said, in short, when Dune launches on May 20th, it will not be in early access. It's a full launch. It will not have a subscription. The game will continue to be expanded through free updates with content and features. And it will follow a classic business model of optional DLCs. And, you know, basically saying, you know, like, don't worry, you're getting the full game.
Yeah.
No hidden fees, no hidden DLCs, nothing like that.
Some people have been doing that, and I think a perfect example that I've come across in my personal gaming life is Mortal Kombat 1. They did something, you know, I paid the money for, like, this is the first Mortal Kombat game that I've ever, like, actually bought for myself. And I found out, I, like, played through the entire campaign, and then I find out that one of the main characters in the game you can't even get unless you pay for the DLC for him. And it's like, that's one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen in my life. Like, this is a main story character and I have to pay extra money to use them, you know, just for fun with my friends. Like, you didn't even, like, it's like making me pay for bits and pieces of the game to make it complete, you know?
Well, yeah, which, because it feels like what they're doing is, it used to be you paid, well, going back to the previous prices, but you pay $60 for a AAA title and it comes with everything.
Yeah.
Or you get the free-to-play game, but you have to buy it in bits and pieces because it's only free-to-play. You know, using like Mortal Kombat as an example, you know, only 4 characters are free-to-play.
Yeah.
Every other one you have to buy. And then you're only going to be able to fight on 2 maps
Yeah.
in one game mode.
I mean, even back then, like back in the day, it's like, you loaded the game and you open it up in the character list and you see locked characters, and it's like, look, you have to play the game to unlock them. It's like, you used to be able to play the game to unlock these characters, but now you just pay money. And it's like,
Well,
you can't even unlock them in any other way. And it's like, it's disgusting, especially if it's like a main focal point, like main character of the game. Like, you would assume because they're on the cover of the game that you'd be able to play as them, but no, they're not even in the base game. And it's like, you got to be kidding me.
Well, what I was saying is, like, it used to be A or B, AAA title with everything, free to play, but you get to buy it in bits and pieces. And now it feels like some developers are like bridging that gap and saying, we'll give you half the game at the AAA price still, and give you the free-to-play platform where you got to buy the other half in little bits and pieces. So it's like, they're like double dipping, basically.
Yeah.
We're going to call it the AAA title and still sell it to you at the AAA title price,
And like,
but we're going to give you the free-to-play model.
Right, and I'm definitely not arguing against DLC and expansions, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with that to me. But when you put a DLC or an expansion in a game that, like, basically doesn't
like Warcraft,
right, it doesn't allow
game,
right.
2
Well,
years later, you gave me an expansion with more content, more classes.
right, yeah. It either needs to be an addition to the content that's already in the game, or, you know, something that is completely and totally optional. Like, you don't even really need it to get the experience. But nowadays, you almost have to. Like, some games, to even, like, finish the game entirely, you have to get the expansion.
Yeah.
It's like, man, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. And, like,
Which is why it's refreshing to see people.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't remember who makes Dune here, but Funcom.
Yeah, Funcom. Yeah, it's Funcom.
Yeah, so it's, you know, it's refreshing to see them like, hey man, we're not bullshitting you.
Yeah.
Here's what you're getting. Here's what you're gonna get afterwards. Like,
Yeah.
it's a nice change of pace from the greedy corporate game developers out there.
Yeah, agree. Couple of things that I would like to talk about. It's not on our list here for today, but I want to bring it up. I've had a chance to play Monster Hunter Wilds, the new Monster Hunter game, and it's very good.
Talking about that one.
Yeah, it's really good. I highly recommend it. It's your standard Monster Hunter game, right? The mechanics haven't changed all that much, but I think it looks fantastic. It plays wonderful. They've added, a couple of really cool quality of life things. And so for my third Monster Hunter game, it's really cool. I'm very happy with it. That being said, some new releases coming up. I've got a couple of things here that I'd like to talk about specifically. One of them kind of caught my eye just based off of our conversation about Bionic Bay. And this one it's called Mandragora. And what it is, for what I've put together about it, is it's a side scroller Mandragora. It's a side scroller RPG game, which is really, really interesting. They boast 40 plus hours of story content, 6 unique classes, tons of different items.
Mandragora, Whispers of the Witch Tree.
Yeah, Whispers of the Witch Tree. It looks really good. I like the idea and concept of a side scroller RPG. Like, as you see from the screenshot I have pulled up here, like there's an entire like crazy skill tree here, and it looks like there's, you know, multiple different kinds based on whatever class you pick. Like, it seems really, really expansive for what would otherwise be just a side scroller, you know. So it's definitely something I want to keep my eye on. I don't know if I'm going to buy it at release. I want to see some gameplay, so I may see if some of my favorite content creators put some videos out about it before I pick it up for myself. But it looks interesting, so I wanted to shout it out there.
Speaking of side scrollers, real quick, you know, as those that have watched our previous streams, you know, I've voiced my opinion, just not being even slightly interested in anything that's lower graphic quality.
Right, yeah.
Any kind of 8-bit, 16-bit, 32, whatever the fuck. If it's not today's quality game, I immediately, as soon as it pops up on like your suggestion on Steam, I'm just like, nope.
That's like, a shame, because you miss it.
Shit.
You're missing out on such wonderful games.
To an extent, there's plenty of equally amazing games that aren't in 16-bit graphics.
Sure.
But what I will say is, after playing Bionic Bay, because it used to basically be, if it was a side scroller, I was also just not interested.
Yeah.
Because for my generation, side scrollers are Nintendo and older.
Yeah, that's like all you had. Yeah, it's like all we had.
But after playing Bionic Bay, it is like kind of shining a light on, you can have a really high quality graphic game as a side scroller. So
yeah,
while the side scroller aspect is an older game style,
they're bringing new
really
ideas.
It's, you know, well, yeah, I mean, even if it wasn't, it's just interesting to see like high quality graphics as a side scroller.
Yeah.
It's an interesting concept, and that's kind of what I was seeing in the Mandragora game there.
Yeah, it's got really great looking graphics. It looks fantastic.
The Bionic Bay was great. It was the depth that they put into that game.
Yeah.
The backgrounds there.
I think you should look into a game called Limbo. I think you'd like it.
Oh,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's been out forever.
Yeah, it's been out for a while. But it's another one of those like really cool, like depthful kind of side scrollers that I really enjoyed. Next,
something.
It's probably Xbox. I mean, it's free on Game Pass, so.
Well,
yeah,
I think it was free on Twitch at one point. Too.
Yeah, it probably.
Bought it and returned it. Like,
yeah, probably. Next up on the list, we have the new season of Diablo, Season of Witchcraft.
Just now saw you added 3 other games.
Yeah, so there's.
I thought it was my turn. I'm like, what are you talking about, Diablo?
Yeah, no. So, new season of Diablo. I haven't been keeping up with it all that much because I don't have the expansion. Once I get Vessel of Hatred, I might jump back into it and play it a little bit more. But yeah, new season of Diablo if you're interested in that. Mudslide waiting for GTA 6. Yeah, you and me both. Yeah. Speaking of GTA 6, if the leaked PC requirements are true, I'm gonna have to get a console because it like even on like the minimum, like the base required stats, it's like leagues beyond what my PC can handle. So it's like, ooh, that's rough. But moving on, the next one I wanted to talk about is a game called Clair Obscur Expedition 33. It looks like kind of like a kind of like Final Fantasy type of turn-based combat, but it's, you know, open world. It looks, I just think it looks really, really good, you know. It's just, it looks epic. It looks, you know, bigger than life. The graphics seem to be top notch. It just looks like a really, really sick RPG, like Final Fantasy-esque open world combat. It looks fun. Yeah, it does look like it's turn-based, which is cool. You know, I do like the turn-based combat in some games, so that's going to be exciting. So definitely keep your eye on this one. I think it's going to make some waves. Like I said, it looks fantastic. And that's all I have for games on my end. You've got a rant about WoW, don't you?
Yeah, and you know, sometimes I always kind of hate talking about WoW because it's, you know, not everybody knows the in-depths of WoW.
Right.
But it has been, you know, it's at least amongst, you know, me, the wife, and you, and Adam here in the channel, and other people. I even bring it up to people at work. I always just put it into terms they can understand.
Yeah.
So I always explain dungeons where, like, if anybody's ever played like Mario 64, where you jump through the painting and you're in your own little world, I was like, that's the equivalent of like going into a Warcraft dungeon.
Yeah.
Go in there with 4 other people, and one of them is the tank that's supposed to make all the enemies hit him and take all the damage from them.
Yep.
You have 3 people that are just there to make them die, and then 1 person that's there to heal everybody and keep them alive. And in Warcraft, they have dungeons that you do the same exact dungeon, but you can increase the difficulty on it from like 1 to 17. And there's a whole, you know, percentage of the people that play World of Warcraft partake in these higher difficulty dungeons, trying to do them as, you know, as high a difficulty as they can. And it's a whole different environment of people that you have to deal with.
Yeah, it's a whole different community.
Yeah, it's a whole different, like, side community of Warcraft. So, like, Warcraft has raids, which is like 10 to 20 to 30 people doing a dungeon. And they have player versus player, which is, you know, like one-on-one, not one-on-one, like team combat, one team versus the other.
Yeah, I mean, there are one-on-ones, but yeah, it's either 2v2 or, like, you know, 30v30, all the way up to like 30v30.
Yeah. And then there's these dungeon group people. So it's kind of split between 3 things.
Well, you're forgetting about the RP community. Then you've got the whole other community that plays the game as an extension of their life. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but anyway, with this community that we're a part of is the dungeon. You're just doing these 5-man dungeons, and we've kind of realized we've gone through 2 seasons. Each season is like 6 months, and they kind of make you start over. So we've been always kind of trying to figure out, like, well, exactly where are we on a scale of 1 to 10 when it comes to this community, and we've come up with the phrases of, like, you have casual players and you have normal players, which is what I would consider myself, and then you have sweats and super sweats, and that's basically like another term for hardcore or very competitive people. But in Warcraft, you kind of have like super casual, normal, sweat, super sweat. And like depending on who gets in your group, because it's all random people for the most part, unless you make a team of friends. And even some of your friends might be different on the scale than you are.
Yeah, you know, I mean, me and you are a perfect example of that. Like, I consider myself to be a casual, so like even you and I aren't on the same level.
Yeah, so, you know, typically it's a scale of 1 to 5, and I consider me and Mudslide and the wife, we're all kind of like the 3. With a 3 right in the middle. Sometimes a 4, sometimes a 2, but we kind of average out at a 3. And when we get to these groups and you get somebody that's a 1, and you're trying to go at the speed and consistency and precision of a 3, it's practically impossible to get that, dungeon completed because you're dragging this level 1 along.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of the other way around, where if you get somebody that's a 5 in your group of 3s, well, then they get pissed off at you. They're like, what are you doing? Why are you doing it this way? You should be doing it that way. Y'all are terrible. You should quit playing the game. Like, they quickly become, like, toxic players.
Yeah.
And it's such a roller coaster.
Yeah, I mean, they just take the game way too seriously.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the whole thing. The 1 through 5, it's how serious are you taking? And it's just been interesting with this new season that came out. It was all supposed to be easier. They've made the dungeon, how much health they have, how much damage they do. They reduced it all. They made their abilities happen less frequently. They just made it easier on multiple fronts. Like, overall, it's like 20% easier than it was the last. And yet it almost feels worse. Like, because they made it so easy, well, now everybody has these, like, false higher expectations that, well, anybody that was a 3 last season should be a 4 this season because it's so much easier. And it's like, no,
yeah, that's not how that works.
And so, like, it feels like the whole community's view on it is, everybody should have basically moved up a notch on that 1 through 5 scale. And it's like, no, all because you went from a 5 to a 6, I'm still a 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit. So it's just been an interesting learning curve, and then trying to figure out where your place is in the new community of, like, what's now almost feels like a scale of 1 to 6 now.
Yeah.
Like, man, am I still a 3?
Yeah, and then you got freaks of nature like me that play like it, that play as often as a 2, but when they do play, they play at the level of a 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I do play, I'm sweat.
Yeah. But you've also never done sweat content either.
That's okay. I play like a sweat.
We'll see if you ever get into 10s with us.
Listen, I got big dick damage. You know it. Everybody knows it.
Yeah, but it's. So
I've got
mobs.
I've got even bigger dick mechanics. All right. I do.
See, maybe
My mechanics are solid. All right.
Just saying, changes the whole game.
Yeah.
Like, stress levels are at like an 8 out of 10.
Yeah. I'm built for that shit. I thrive in that environment.
Okay. Do we need to go back and play the stream recordings? See how much you were thriving?
Listen, I'm really good at holding down the floor, all right? Nobody's better.
I don't know, man. Adam's a pretty good runner.
Yeah. He's definitely got more tenure for sure.
Yeah. Years of experience holding that floor down. He's good friends with it. It's not a first name basis. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of the overall point of my rant, was just, talking about it's just a whole crazy environment. And every aspect of WoW is, everybody just looks at Warcraft like, oh, you're just playing this RPG. And it's like, oh, it's really three, like, very diverse communities of either raiders, PvPers, or Mythic Dungeon Pusher.
Yeah, and then you go into the world of the RPers. It's like, that's an even bigger community, in my opinion.
It's about bigger.
There's entire servers based around them.
Yeah, there's 50 servers dedicated to raiding.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I wouldn't say bigger. You're right. That's a bold statement, but still, they're pretty big. They're pretty big. It's a pretty big community.
Yeah,
before we end it, I have one more game to talk about. I almost forgot. We've got 5 minutes left. And this one I'm actually surprised about. it really, really caught me off guard, because their whole, and you can go back to the other streams and you can talk about how I've trashed their business model on the way they marketed this game. But Assassin's Creed Shadows.
I thought you were going to talk about, damn, that shooting.
Helldivers?
Yeah.
No, not Helldivers. That's still a Sony issue that they haven't fixed. I still refuse to play that game until they fix it. But, yeah, Assassin's Creed, I'm very vocal about how I don't like how predatory Ubisoft is with their games marketing. But they got our buddy Scrivdoc, and he went ahead and paid for their like premium subscription so that he could play Assassin's Creed Shadows for, instead of the $70, he could pay the $15 a month and play it until he's done and then end the subscription. He would save money. Makes sense. But he got it, and I've been watching him play it, and I gotta say, it looks really good. They did a really, really, really good job with it. I've seen like side-by-side pictures of like locations in the game versus like real-life locations. They've kept it true and accurate. I mean, and to be honest with you, that's kind of what you would expect from an Assassin's Creed game. All of their games have been pretty historically accurate. That's something that they can pride themselves with. But there was a lot of negative aura surrounding the game, but I have to say, after seeing some gameplay and like really getting to dive into what the game is at its core, I'm impressed. It looks to be one of the best titles they've put out in a while. I mean, me personally, the last good Assassin's Creed game, in my personal opinion, was probably Black Flag. But
Black Flag was great.
Yeah, and Black Flag was, in my opinion, one of the best. Followed closely by the third one, Assassin's Creed 3. And really, those have been like everything from Black Flag back was fantastic. Everything after that, in my personal opinion, has been okay. Not great, just okay. But the Assassin's Creed Shadows looks great. It's really good. Well, actually, as a matter of fact, they've had full cooperation from Japan. It's funny, there was one of the Japanese prime ministers reached out to Ubisoft because in the game before launch there were specific shrines and things that could be destroyed in the world. And Japan reached out to Ubisoft, was like, hey, we don't like that. So like days before the game released, they removed that feature.
Did you see what Mutsai posted? Japan's about to sue them.
Yeah. No, yeah. That's why I brought that up. But yeah, no, actually, Japan has been talking with them about it. And yeah, so within a few days of release, they removed that feature, which okay, good on them. That's good practice. I appreciate that. They're trying to make sure that they're not offending anybody or pissing anybody off. They're trying to keep it true and accurate. With their own little Assassin's Creed flair, which what everybody loves. And I think, again, check it out. I think they did a good job. One of the best looking Assassin's Creed games I've seen in a while. So, with that being said, that'll be our show, unless you've got something else.
Yeah, I do got one more thing to pop in.
Oh, okay.
And I posted in our chat there for the
Oh, man. Oh, the roadmap. Oh, boy.
I didn't realize they posted this up until just now. I'm a little behind on the times, but supposedly quarter 2 2025, they're finally putting fucking bandits in the game.
Oh yeah, look at that.
It's like 2021 or something.
Yeah, new gore system, completely remade.
21, sorry.
Completely remake vehicle assets, new animals, new gore system, zombie variants.
Since like 2023, so we're coming up on 2 years.
Yeah.
Bandits are coming.
Yeah, Trader Overhaul, a story mode. Oh, yeah. Mod support, Steam Workshop support. That's cool. Oh man.
That's the end of the year.
That's okay. It'll be worth it. Next year, dude,
I know.
7 Days to Die is going to be a game to keep an eye out for.
I was gonna say, RUM-Gaming servers might come back up.
Dude, you know, and honestly, I've got a spare GPU that I will send for you for that server. Like,
a whole spare computer for our server.
I could probably build a spare computer. I have everything to build like a cheap little server.
I built Crystal's old computer. I turned into a server.
That's right. But yeah, so keep an eye next year. Yeah, that's a real possibility. That's cool. I'm excited for that. Good catch.
I'm actually kind of tempted to maybe try it out sometime in the next couple of weeks just to see Q4 2024, the like weather system and stuff.
Oh yeah, wardrobe system, crossplay and random gen for consoles. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, supposedly this Q2 change is coming out soon. They're posting 3 hours ago. Somebody said the new update is coming out in 2 weeks.
Oh man. Update. Let's talk about updates. Update to Tarkov. They just released a new map called the Labyrinth. I haven't played it. Don't know anything about it. If you're into that, go check it out.
Oh, well, speaking of maps, throw that out there too. Call of Duty fans, Verdansk is coming back soon.
Oh yeah, Verdansk is coming back. I have heard about that. But with all of that, that's going to be our show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you do, like we do every month, check out our website, check out our Facebook, our TikTok, our Twitter, YouTube. Follow us on all the socials. If you are a veteran, go to our website, fill out a form, get a free 3D print. Please. We don't know how difficult it is to give away free things, but apparently it is. Go get it.
It's literally impossible.
I don't know how to do it. Like I feel like it'd be, yeah. I don't get it. Go fill out a form. Get you a free 3D print.
I'm on it.
Yeah. Come to Steampunk November. It's in November this year. Come hang out with us November 9th and 10th. Come hang out. You can camp. You can spend time with us. You can watch some shows. It'll be a blast. You'll get to see us in costume. We're hoping we can get the wives to coordinate something. Don't know about that yet, but we'll see. Everyone have a good night, and we'll see you next month.
See you later.